מאמין, אני מאמין, אני מאמין. Everybody, I'm turning this off. Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Shkoyach. It's overwhelming. It's unbelievable. You know, there's a special bracha, special zimun you make when there's over 1,000 people, and today we're expecting over 1,600 Limdei Torah. It's very humbling. It's unbelievable. Before we begin, I just want to thank every single one of you for coming out. It's a tremendous chizuk. Some of you came from far, and some came even from further distances. The people that flew in from Eretz Yisrael, Tomer Levi, Gary Ben Moshe, Avi Kamiansky. Special to be here tonight. My wife, my children. It's a big zchus for me. I want to introduce to you my shver later on. He flew in from Chicago, and there's many others. I heard there's some people that flew in from London. People came from all over. We have people that drove from very, very long distances. So yishkoyach for coming out. Yishkoyach for being mechazik. Everyone that came is a chizuk for everybody else. So yishkoyach. I want to say before we begin, the new guys. I didn't get the updated number, but I know it's over 700, maybe 800 people. I don't know where Shlomi Rosenberg is. I think yesterday it was in the 700s. So welcome all the new guys. Trust me, you're going to enjoy. It's going to be a life changer. And we're going to hear more about that throughout the program tonight. This week's parsha, the very, very famous pasuk, Zois HaTorah. This is the Torah. Adam ki yamos ba'oyel. Person dies in a tent. So Rish Lakish in the Gemara says that Torah is not nikna. You can't be kind of Torah unless you're meimis atzmei alel. You have to kill yourself over Torah. Pasha, you have to kill yourself. Sometimes it's difficult. We went through a pretty difficult Masechta for many. It was the hardest Masechta in Shas. And I know everybody's excited tonight to start brand new Masechtas, Kesubos. Look at the dapim. They're shorter. They're much easier. They flow easier. You have to be meimus atzmai on the Torah. I heard a beautiful story. There was brothers, the Schreiber brothers. One of them was Penny Schreiber. And they survived Auschwitz by escaping to Iran. And eventually they made their way to Eretz Yisrael. And when they got to Eretz Yisrael, unfortunately, they tried to be mekalkel them. They cut off their payas. And they try to convince them not to be frum. And Penny Schreiber kept on giving chizuk to his brother, said, don't listen to them. And there's this other guy there. His name was Rabbi Nachem Elbaim, I think his name was. And Nachman Elbaim, he was a young guy. And he kept on giving chizuk to the Schreiber boys. It was one of the madrichim, one of the counselors, that his job was to get these kids off the derech, get them away from their home. He's told Penny, he said, listen, I know you're hungry. I know you do anything for a candy. I'll give you the key to the canteen. You can get any candy you want. Just stop being mechazik these people. And he said, no, I'd rather the key to Gan Eden than the key to the canteen. So one day, they took these kids to the kotel, a tour. And Penny and his brother disappeared. They hid under a Yerushalmi guy's talus. And the Yerushalmi says, what are you doing here? Shkotzim, get out of here. He said, we're not shkotzim. We're from kids. He said, no, arois. So they started repeating. They said a couple daf Gemara. They knew Gemara, so they started saying Gemaras. Al peh. So the Yerushalmi was very shooken. And he took these boys to the Brisker Rav. And he said, look, these boys, they know dapim of Gemara Bal Peh. And the Brisker Rav couldn't believe it. Kids without payas, shaved heads, looked like goyim. Started saying over Gemara. And they say this was only one of 2 times that the Brisker Rav ever cried in his life. Pasha cried. It's kids that went through the lager, went through. And the point is, this penny, more, it's too loud. Oh, that's better. This penny turned out to be Reb Pinchas Schreiber, became Av Bezdin in Ashdod. His son is Rebunim Schreiber. 2 nekudos. First, you have to choose. Sometimes in life, you have the option of choosing the key to the canteen, to the Gashmias, choosing the key to Gan Eden. He chose the key to Gan Eden. But more importantly, the Torah says, Adam ki yomotz ba'oil. Kill yourself over Torah. Mitzat sheni, the pasuk says, v'chai ba'em. So which one is it? You're supposed to kill yourself or you're supposed to live with it? Obviously, if you kill yourself at Torah, you shtay, you chazer, you know dapim Gemara. This is what saved these kids. They lived, they got life, because once upon a time, they were meimus atzmai al Torah. So, before we begin Masechtas, we go through the usual routine. I'm going to take some out, put some new ones in. But for the new guys, but also for the old guys. The guys that are here need chizuk. They need to remember, you have to do chazar all the time. So the first yesod that gives chizuk for people that are starting the daf, and people that are with the daf. My favorite saying, it's not about the daf It's about the Yomi. Why do we do Daf Yomi? And why do I believe it's the most successful program out there? It's because, not because it's another learning program. There's a lot of learning programs. You can do Mishnah Berurah Yomi, you can do Shnai Mikra V'Echad Targum. It's because it's the most consistent program. It's a program that forces you to learn Torah every single day, to connect HaKadosh Baruch Hu on the highest way that we know how to connect HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not about the daf, it's about the Yomi. It's geschmack to do the daf. What does that mean? It gives chiyas to your life. Everybody that started, ask those hatzlacha guys, it's the coolest thing in the world to do the daf. It puts in such a chiyos, such a geschmackheit, such a frischkeit, right? It's geschmack to do the daf, it's geschmack to do the daf. Da 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 ya ya. Let's go. Oh yo, did it die? La 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 boy. Let's go. La 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 la. Hey, la 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 boy. La 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 la. Yo yo. La 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 la. Oh yeah. Hey, la la la. All right, the next insight is that the daf and Torah in general, but the fact that we're learning Gemara, which includes halacha, agada, Tanakh, everything. It even includes Gemara. Will make you a better person. Will make you a better husband, a better businessman, a better father. And people ask me all the time, but what's the aside? Why? Why is it so matzliach? Why are there so many people? By the way, think about it. Look around the room. I don't know how many people are here. Maybe 1,000. We're expecting more. It's only 10% of the amount of people that are learning with us every single day. 10%. It's unbelievable. Because of the achdos. You look around, the kippas rugaz, the bow ties, the regular ties, Dr. Listhouse, the chasidim, the misnagdim, the magachir, whatever he is. It's a whole mix in tzachtos, and I can't think but that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is looking down now at 1,000 people from all walks of life. When do you have something like this, that 1,000 people, 1,500 people, getting together for one purpose, to celebrate Torah, learning Torah together? It's unbelievable. So the camaraderie and the achdus is what's so special. And the daf, because it's so consistent, and because you learn it every single day, no matter what, rain or shine, simchas, people send them pictures, learning during the birth of their children, on vacation, on the roller coasters, on the boats, on the planes. That consistency brings so much consistency to life in other areas. You become more consistent, you work out more, you diet better, you learn Shnai Mikra, you do other limudim, and just you become a more consistent human being. All right, so on to the shir. We do sponsorships, but today we cut out a lot. because of the Olam, and it's the first daf. There's no emails today. It's a special. Those of you who love emails, sorry, it's not today. The Koilel sponsored Leilu Nishmas Zechariah ben Moshe. The Masechta, we have something new. 2 people paid close to $10,000 each. They're sponsoring the entire Masechta, so get used to the names. Leilu Nishmas Yosef Baruch ben Moshe Aaron, and Leilu Nishmas Moshe Elazar ben Nata Shalom, whose yard set is tonight, and for the hatzlacha, b'chol yonah for my children. We'll cut it down a little bit. The second sponsor of the Masechta is Jeff Rosner and zchus of my son Yosef Simcha Chaim ben Sarah Refuah Shlaima. And by the Lock and Lebovic families, Lakewood NJ, because Torah is the best segula. Also, where is he? Where's Mr. Lock? Hi, nice to meet you. He's been sponsoring, and he's the first $10,000 donor towards the Siyum. You know, tonight, I know you guys think that the $49 covers it, but it doesn't even cover the security from Chaverim. It's a... So, Yishkoyach, the Lock family. Paras HaChodesh, Refuah Shlaima for Yוכבד, Aviel Bashifra Chaya. Paras HaChodesh, the MDY Family, Leilu Nishmas, Shimshon, Weiss, Shimshon ben Meshulam Dov, a young guy who was such a life of the Shir, and his nifter from Yana Machla this month. As a zchus for our children to be kaddish, safe, healthy, happy, and know Hashem loves them. Sponsor today should be zoicha to nachas digdusha and have tremendous success in my business, my new business. Nisim Akilov in honor of Raveli. Thank you for bringing us all together here tonight. Aaron Akilov in honor of Raveli. Do they know that they each other sponsored? I'm not sure. Nisim Akilov, I guess so. In honor of my father, I didn't read this before. Pinchas Zalman, Zion, Makiel, something like that. Aaron, Gavriel, and Avram Moshe. Learning Kesubos as a zchus for a shidduch for Eliezer Noam ben Yitzchak Meir. Sponsored by the Boyer family. This is the last one. Rabbi Elazar ben Bracha ben Rabbi Avram Neir Yor, who passed away the Shabbos after the last event in New York. He loved MDY and was proud to be part of it. And I was zoicha to be in his very, very last picture that they ever took of him. So his neshama should have an aliyah. Here we go. There is an isser. Leilu Nishmas, Imi Moirasi Rusbas Mordechai. Thank you. We're going to be talking and discussing the different chiyuvim, obligations that a husband has for his wife and the wife has for the husband before they get married, after they get married. That's the Masechta. We know that it's usher to live without a ksuba. If you're married, it's usher. I myself had the unfortunate situation that my wife gave her ksuba under the chuppah to a certain person who happens to be married to my father-in-law here. And it got lost very quickly. And people said, you can't go home. You can't. We had to write a shtar dirkasa right there and then. Okay. You have to have a ksuba. Maybe, and perhaps you could say, that just like you can't live without a ksuba, you can't live without Masechtas Kesubos. And here we are today, beginning what the Chida calls Shas Katan. Now, I had to learn it real quickly today from cover to cover, and I realized it's not really Shas Katan. It doesn't have much kachim in it, doesn't have much mayit in it. Nevertheless, maybe the Chida learned in yeshivas, I don't know. They did Nashim Nezikim, I don't know. But it's called Shas Katan. It has tremendous amount of sugyas. And if we learn it well, we could take this Masechta and use it throughout Shas and be familiar with so many different topics. So here we go. How much time do I have left? 10 minutes. The Eilam is hungry. Huh? The buzzer, yeah, the buzzer. Besula niseis liyoy meravi. So, we're going to see a lot of interesting things here today. By the way, before we start, I just have to say a quick yishkoyach. I'm going to say it again, but it's kedai just to be market toiva to so many people, and I hope I don't miss people. I said to the guys that flew in from Eretz Yisrael, and you should know that a function like this takes enormous, I'm talking about enormous amount of time and effort. I know of many, many Zoom sessions that lasted more than 4 to 5 hours each, but many. The details of where every seat is going to be and where the food and how much food and who's coming and who's this and what are they going to say and who's going to speak. It's crazy. So I hope I don't miss anybody, and not in any particular order. By the way, Nathaniel Younger also flew in from Eretz Yisrael. Yes, he's getting paid a little bit. That's his job, but very, very little. He gave a tremendous, tremendous discount, maybe a third of the price of what he usually charges, maybe less, maybe 20%. I don't know. A joke. Pasha, a joke. He's part of this year. He learns with us every day, and he really wanted to do this. He did a phenomenal job in Ramat Bet Shemesh, and he really took off a big oil from everybody that was behind the scenes. So tremendous yishkoach to him for being here tonight and arranging it. Murad Nakash had the idea of doing it. I'll talk about him later. We're in the middle of a shir now. We'll talk about it. It was supposed to be in his backyard, in his neighbor's backyard, and Baruch Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him a brilliant idea to switch it last week. I'm very happy he did. Everybody's happy. We're able to bring that many more people and not be in somebody's backyard with, it just rained over there and it's muddy, whatever. Nisanel Gans, behind the scenes, Yoimam V'Laila, Yossi Klein, Yoimam V'Laila, V'Laila V'Yoim, Shlomi Rosenberg. Unbelievable amount of hours, and every email, every booking, everything went through him. You probably got an email from him in order to get in here, everything, and he has crazy jobs. He runs events like this and larger in Europe with tech, and how he does it, we don't know. So we have Reb Fischel sitting over here in the front, who sponsored all the Gemaras for Masechtas Kesubos, a lot of the Gemaras, or most of them, and a lot more. So Yishkoach Reb Fischel, and we'll talk about the others. We have Shalom Rand, Yaakov Yosef Ayal, Yoshi. I got to say thank you to Yoshi, by the way. We'll talk about him later, but the artist that did all that crazy amount of work, and if you see the beautiful mural in the back over there, all new art, well, he doctored it up and made a beautiful, beautiful thing that Avi Kamiansi commissioned. So Yishkoach Yoshi, and I hope I'm not leaving out Benzi Friedman, my partner who's here tonight. All right, we'll shmooze about all these people a little later. Psula Nises Liyam Revi. A woman who wasn't married could only get married on a Wednesday. Now we know today it's different, and we're going to see the reason why it's different today and why the time of the Mishnah was like that. Only on a Wednesday. Valmana, a woman that was married before, Liyam HaChamishi, she should get married on a Thursday. Shepamayim b'Shabbos bati dinim yoshim ba'yarois. 2 days a week. Let me just make sure I didn't miss people, things. You know how it is. Okay, fine. I don't know. If you have, be Michael. Pamayim b'Shabbos pati dinim yoshim ba'yaris. Ezra was masakin 10 things. One of the 10 things is that there should be a bezdin twice a week on Yom HaSheni u'be Yom HaChamishi. The Tosfos read on the spot over here says, it's not like they went on vacation. They were learning Torah, and they paskin dinim on Monday and Thursday. So if it's Monday and Thursday, what does that have to do with getting married on a Wednesday? Shimhoyel tanas psulim. Person gets married, and he thought that his wife is a psula, and he finds out that she's not a psula. Hoyamashkim lebezdin. He should have the opportunity to go the next morning, following morning, to bezdin. Nu, I'll ask you a question. And if it's 2 days from now, he found out she doesn't have psulim, he'll wait 2 days from now. Why not? So we always talk about this yisoid, and it's yisoid for tonight. If you are not one of those people doing the daf, and you're here to check it out, you don't push it off to the next Masechta. You don't push it off to the beginning of brachas. It's now, because if it's not now, it's never. When you have that inspiration, when he has an inspiration to go to Bezdin and tie on his wife, you must do it immediately, because if you don't do it immediately, you're going to give in, you're going to be mevater, she's going to say something, and you're going to be moicheler. We don't want you to be moicheler, because maybe she was mizana. In those days, they were mekadesh a woman. You gave her a ring, and then they said goodbye for sometimes a year or so. And if she's mezana during that year, you ask her. It's regular nos. Kiddushin is that strong. Say over the Maisa in Valazhin. Famous Maisa, but it's kedai to say, there's a bacher that knew Kol HaTorah Kula, and they asked him a question, and he didn't know the answer, and they said, well, it's a Mefursh Taisvus. And he had such chalishas hadas. He said, Taisvus. How did I not remember the Taisvus? He was in the middle of a meal. He didn't bench. He didn't do anything. He walked away into a room. He locked himself up in the room. I don't know how long, days, weeks, until he finished Shas, Gemara Rashi Taisvus again. So they asked Reb Chaim Volozhiner, did he do the right thing? And he said, well, it's a problem to leave a meal without benching. But had he waited until after benching, he most likely wouldn't have had that inspiration and most likely wouldn't have finished Shas like that. So when you have that inspiration, it doesn't matter what. If you want to go on a diet, whatever it is, you do it today. Because if you push it off to after Shabbos, to whatever, as we know, the Yitzhahara gets you. And here's the Yisod, right here in the Mishnah. We have to make sure that it's right before the Bezdin, because if it's not before the Bezdin, it'll be over. Omer Rav Yosef, Omer Rav Yehuda, Omer Shmuel. Says Rav Yosef in the name of Shmuel. So why Revi if we just said that the Bezdin is in session on Monday also, and on Thursday? So okay, Revi I understand, because you want him to go to Bezdin on Chamishi. But why can't he get married on Sunday? And he'll go to Bezdin. If he has a problem, go to Bezdin on Monday. Lefisha Shaninu, Higia Zman V'lei Nisu. So it's talking about a chassan tells the kala, okay, let's go. Let's get married, get ready. No. How long does it take to get married? To get ready for a chasana? So, it could be we're talking about this guy. This guy made a cheshbon. He goes like this. He said, I saw that my father and mother, they were preparing to go to a chasana once. And it was taking forever. And by the time my mother said, let's go, my father said, I have to shave. She said, you just shaved. He says, yeah, I shaved, but then you got ready, and I have to shave again. They say, the researchers say, not making this up, the same 20 minutes that your wife says, yeah, I'll be ready in 20 minutes, I'll be ready in 20 minutes, and we'll leave then. Those are the same 20 minutes that the man says, yeah, I'll be home in 20 minutes. It's the same. They're leaving, they're coming. I'll call upon him. It takes 12 months to get ready for a chasana. Now, the 12 months come and go, and he's not ready. He's not ready now. He has to shave again, whatever it is. So this is fascinating. We cannot relate to this at all, but food is a big thing, a very big thing in those days. And the whole argument there is who owes who food for 3 days? Give me some food for the 3 days. No, I don't owe you food. Okay, I'm going to take you to Bezdin under the food. You know, here in America, I heard that there's shuls that literally have 5 to 7 different types of chont on Shabbos. Food is not a big deal. You know, the Kamiansky brothers, his Hillel also came from Eretz Yisrael. Yishkoyach Hillel. Wow. Rabbi Ben Shushan sitting behind them, all the way from Los Angeles. My son from Los Angeles. Unbelievable. Shlomo Lazarian. Okay, names go on and on. In our shul, and they could testify to you, when a kid becomes bar mitzvah, many people don't even do a suda bay bayayim, and what they give us at the kiddush, for us here in America, is mamish a joke. They give you a piece of kugel and a pickle. Zehu, they're done. No chont, no herring, nothing. Am I exaggerating? There's the fancy guys, the wealthy guys give some herring. So that's Eretz Yisrael, and then take it back 70 years. Think about how there's no food, even 70 years ago. But in the time of the Gemara, it was like a big thing. That's why, if you think about it, that's why parents married off the kids so young. Take care of my kid. I can't feed them. Pasha can't feed them. So here they are. Who's going to take care? Who owes who? Now, you said you're going to get married in a year. Here's the year. It's here. So pay. Says the Gemara. Omer Av Yosef, Morid Avram. Lakach shaninu sari, yimalel mezoinos, yochel yigia becha b'shavas, yimalel mezoinos, lakach shaninu, psula nisus liyoyim revi. So, if the year falls out on a Sunday, don't worry about it. You don't owe her anything. That piece of bread that you thought about giving her, you could save it. You're mechuyev to get married, takanas chacham, to get married on a Wednesday. You saved yourself 3 days now, 4 days. Now, Rav Shteiman asks, the obvious, you look it up in a calendar and see when the year comes out. What do you mean? You said a year and it's not your fault. It's your fault. Look it up real quickly on the iPhone, or whatever. So first of all, he says, in those days, they didn't have calendars. They were Mekadosh the Chodesh. You didn't know when exactly the year 365 days are going to fall out or whatever. Another thing is, maybe not mechuyev to look it up in the calendar. He said a year finished. Omer Av Yosef, Morid Avram. It's a lashon they use in the Gemara. Today we say Rebbeinu Shalaylam. Rebbeinu Avram. Tali Tanya, but the Tanya, what? He's giving me a reason based on something that's not said. Says Gemara, hey Tanya, ve'ele Tanya. What's not said exactly? What's not mefurish? Hot Tanya, v'hot Tanya. They're both Mishnayos. It's a Mishnah Daf Nun Zayin. Ella, Tali Tanya de mefurish Taima, but the Tanya de le mefurish Taima. Here, if you're getting confused, this is our Mishnah. Psula nisis liyom revi. Why? The Mishnah gives us a reason. Mashkim, because he should be able to go to Bezdin. I'm asking you, why on Wednesday? Why not on Sunday? So you're giving me a Mishnah in Daf Nun Zayin Amud Aleph that says, Higiyas man v'lei nisu, if the time came, the year, oichleis mishalai, they eat. Now, doesn't say a reason over there. It doesn't say what. It doesn't say anything. Okay. I just threw in a chart here. Why not? We're used to Yavamas, which I'm going to miss dearly, and all the characters that we had, and the potato heads, and then the Baldwin brothers. By the way, standing ovation. Okay, no, don't stand, but a round of applause for the Baldwin brother, Avi Kamiansky, who, it was Mesiris Nefesh, literally. I used to kill him off almost every day. He never said a word. It's a big thing. So, how could you take a Mishnah that doesn't give a reason and explain our Mishnah that gives a reason? It doesn't make sense, says the Gemara. Says the Gemara, Ella, Yitmar Achi Yitmar. Omer Rav Yid Omer Shmuel, Mepeni Ma Omer Psula Nisis Liyomer Revi. Shem Hoyelei Tainis Psulim, Hayamashim Lebezdin. So the Gemara goes through what we learned in the Mishnah. So let them get married on Sunday. He could also get up in the morning on Monday. Says the Gemara Nu Yisoid. Shagdu chachamim al takonas b'nei Yisrael she'toireach besuda shloisha yamim. Chachamim went down deep into it. They delved into it, and they realized that it's good that the chassan should prepare 3 days of seuda. Should have food for the chasana, for the shever brachas, and if he prepares so much, he'll be more accurate with his tain of psulim. He'll make sure that what he's saying is real. Nobody's going to work for 3 days straight. Again, today we have to kanas that people shouldn't spend, over $1 million and invite 700,000 guests. The whole thing, and then they had to make a takana that he should work 3 days on the suda. Okay. It's very different times. Very hard to relate to. He works on the Suda Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and on Wednesday he gets married. Now, that wouldn't be good if there's a Shabbos. You can't work on Friday because then you have Shabbos. No refrigeration. The food is going to spoil. Not a good idea. So now we do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. The only day left is a Wednesday because the Bezdin is on Thursday. Achshav, now that we know the reason, sheshaktu, now we could apply this to what we learned in the Mishnah later on in Daf Nun Zayin, that if the year comes, he's mechuyev to give her food, and if he's a kohen, she's permitted to eat truma. Here's the chart. Why not? Let's talk about Yisoidus and Shas. If you have produce, you have to give 2% to the kohen. And the kohen can feed that 2% to his wife, even though she's a Yisraelis. Now, if they got engaged, they should be able to eat that 2%, but this takana is not to. But in this case, since the year came and went, she could eat truma, even though she's not 100% married yet. There's no chuppah, there was only erusin. Okay. Says the Gemara, lefichach chalahu. Now Rav Yosef continues, and he says, now we learn chalahu. What if he became sick? Or she became sick. Yeah, the guy comes home. His wife says, "You're not going to believe it. I have such a headache." He says, "Oy, wow! I was just going to take you to the mall. There's unbelievable sales in the mall." She says, "No, I was just kidding." He's like, "I was also just kidding." Yeah. Okay. Chalsahi. She became sick. No, is that a oinus? Not a oinus. He's a chayla. She's a chaylas. She's a chaylanis. Oisha pierced a nida. She became a nida. You can't get married. There's a problem with yichud. Can't consummate the marriage. So whose fault is that? Is it Mishamayim? They knew about it. It's his fault. He's sick. It's her fault. She's sick. What's going on? Einoi malala mezainis. No, he's not mechuyev from mezainis. Now, before I confuse you too much here, all we're going to have here is basically two simple shitas. Rav Yosef and Rav Ashi say that an arus, somebody who's engaged, only provides mezainis if they physically get married. Anything else, if he's sick, she's sick, neither that, nothing. Unless, of course, he doesn't want to get married. He's been mazed not getting married. But if there's some sort of einus, it doesn't matter what, he's chayiv and mezainis. You have the Rachai says that you're chayiv and mezainis on any kind of delay, but if she delays and it's her mazed, then you're not chayiv. So let's see inside. Some people say it's not so pashat. It was actually a question. What happens if he gets sick? Now, if the year falls out on a Sunday, and we said he's not mechuyev to bring mezainis, he's not mechuyev to give her mezainis for 3 days until Wednesday, mishum da anas. Okay? He's an oinus. And now because we mentioned this word oinus, we're going to go into a little bit of an oinus sugya. It's not his fault that the year fell out on a Sunday. So over here also, he's sick. She's sick. Oinus. He wants to get married on a Sunday. His hands are tied behind his back because they say get married on Wednesday. So in that case, they said, you parted from giving her mezainis. And if you're going to tell me that if he gets sick, he has to give her mezainis, what about her? What if she gets sick? What's the question? Look, here, I'm here. I have my tuxedo. I'm ready to go. Sometimes it's too bad. You ran out of luck. Your field flooded. I'm your field. It flooded. That's it. I have a machla. I can't get married. COVID. What am I going to do? It's my fault I have COVID. Says the Gemara. Now, interesting because just today I looked over Daf Hey real quickly. Don't ask me why. And there's literally on Amud Beis 7 Imtim Tzalaymar. It's very unique to Shas. Well, we're gonna have fun there. Imtim Tzalaymar this, Imtim Tzalaymar that, Imtim Tzalaymar this, 7 times. Okay. Over here, only a couple. Imtim Tzalaymar And if she could actually taina, look, you bought a field, so it flooded. It's your problem, it's your mazel. What about if she came in Nida? Says the Gemara, we have to separate. There's two ways. B'shas Vesta, if it's when it happens every month, that's not even a Shaila. We just turn to Daf Beis, Amud Beis. I don't have my Yevamos Gemara. I don't know what I did with it. So, sponsored by Moshe Horn. Moshe Horn is in the house? I don't know what it is. Okay, you know what it is. And sponsored, what's the other one? Anybody? Oh, Rabbi Medetsky. So that's Moshe Horn, Rabbi Medetsky, the best basketball player that ever lived. I met him last night. And then his Sanol, Nagans, in honor of Murad Nakash, who brought him to the Daf. Shkoyach. So, if it happened on the regular time of the month, then what is she going to do? Then it's not a oinus, it's expected. So she can't say, oh, your field flooded. What happens if it was somewhat of an oinus? It happened at a different time of the month. It wasn't during your veset. So Mela, it's like a oinus, and she says your field flooded. If I make a mistake in reading, it's because the lighting is not, So it's normal that once in a while it changes days. So it's within reason, it's within something to expect, and therefore it's not considered a oinus. Pasha Refuah Shilayma comes Refuah Shilayma, and that we have in the blue, if you still have it. So, going back to the Mishnah on Daf Nun Zayin. If the year came, he said, get ready. So from the time he says, get ready, not from the time he gave her Kiddushin, not from the time he gave her ring, but from the time he says, get your clothes ready. 12 months later, they didn't get married. He has to provide mezainas, v'oichlis b'truma, and a chiddush that even if she's a bas Yisrael, she could eat truma. Loi nasu loiktani. Nasu is a lashon of the man. It doesn't say that the man had a problem; he didn't want to get married. It says elaloi nisu. So the Gemara is medaik from the grammar. It seems like the problem laid with her. She had something. No, what could it be? It could be that she got sick. It could be she became a nida. If she, the woman, is the one that caused the delay, then why is it that she gets to eat? It's her fault. So this is the question that we're asking. It's not that she put her foot down, I don't want to get married. She had some sort of itis. Now there's two things. Machla, chayli, or Pirsanida. Omer Vashi loyla memelach kol unsa loyachla. No. You're going to be medayik from the grammar. Nah, I'm not going for it. Loyla memelach kol unsa loyachla. Maybe I could say that no matter what, she got sick, he got sick, you don't eat. With the koma akfi inu. And it's the oinus that we're talking about. He created the oinus. Ubedinu di boilela misni loy nasu. But you had a problem with the way it said nasu, lashon zachar. It should say nisu. It says nisu, not nasu. So why does it say nisu? Nasu is a better lashon if we're talking about the man. So the Gemara uses this all the time. Since we started off talking about the woman, psula nisas b'didi tananami sefer b'didi. What's going on here? Well, this is classic Gemara. Because we have to understand, again, we cannot relate to this. Most of us can't relate to it. But if you imagine that everything that you learned, the entire Masechtas Kesubos, had to be learned bal peh. No svarim, also to write it down. So the Mishnayos had to be written in a very poetic way. And many times they dropped the grammar in favor of memorization. And here's a great case of it. It should have actually said nasu. You're right, but it didn't say no. We keep it daichak. That Rebbe, when he wrote the Mishnah, he preferred the word nisu because it went together with the reish of psula, and it's just easier to remember. No? Says the Gemara, Omar Rava. This idea that if a person has some sort of oinus, he could get out of paying mizaynus, that doesn't work when it comes to a get. If somebody gives his wife a get, and again, we don't really relate to this, but in time of the Gemara, somebody went on a business trip. Think about it. He went on a business trip. It's not that he got on a commercial airline that the safety rating is out of this world. It's whatever. We don't want to be Pesach Pele Satan, but Baruch Hashem, there hasn't been a serious aviation accident in America in a real large commercial airline in, 20 years, right? Long time. Maybe somebody's going to correct me now, but a long time. In those days, you go on a ship, and it's a 50-50. He might not come back. So he has to write a get. They used to write gittin to the wives all the time. It's a normal thing. Some women had, 200 gittin in their house. Every time he went on a business trip, I'm not giving you any ideas, Avi, over there, but a lot of guys in Ramat Shemesh, they have to go to America and travel on business. It's a normal thing. Give a wife a get. You say, if I don't come back, you don't have to. I have a creepy brother. I don't want you to fall the yibum. Now, a lot of you guys don't even know what yibum is, so we'll tell you. If I don't have a chart, I really should get a chart here. Whatever. If a man dies without children, the wife falls libum and goes to the brother-in-law. Now, sometimes the brother-in-law is not a great guy. The husband knows it. He lived with the guy, his brother, for many years. So he says, okay, I'm going to get you out of this. Here's the get. If I don't come back, here's the get. Great. Now, Rava says, this halacha doesn't apply. If he had some sort of oinus, he couldn't get back, too bad. He can say, I got COVID. I couldn't get back. They didn't let me back on the plane. They stopped me at the border. Too bad. You wrote a get. It's a good get. When it comes to food, if you can't get married, it's not too bad. I'm not going to pay you the 3 days of bread, but the get goes through. So now we're going to do a little gittin. You see, it's shas katan. Going through different mishnayos in gittin. Person says, I expect to be back in 12 months. If I don't come back, here's your get. And he died within 12 months. It's not a get. Now the reason is because, how could it be a get? That means after he died, he gave the get. And that doesn't work. You can't give a get after you die. The Gemara's been died. Who didn't get? It's only because he died. Hachala, harez a get. It only says one case. If he dies, it's an extreme case, then it's not a get. But what if he had a simple oinus? He got COVID, he got sick. It's a good get. So you see that there's no oinus when it comes to gittin. By the way, heads up, I'm loving this Kesubos. Everything we're learning now, repeat tomorrow on Amud Aleph. The whole Amud Aleph is just basically, at least half of Amud Aleph is just a repeat. So listen nicely today. It's going to fly nicely tomorrow. I looked in the art scroll. It's like these little 2.5 pages. Yivamas, 6 pages each Amud. Keep on turning and turning and turning. What's going on here? Kesubos, 2.5. Officially, you hear this? You only have to give volume 1. It's like most Kesubos, I think. I didn't check, but fine. It's easy stuff. What I'm saying, it's easy. It's geschmack. Join us. Stay with us. You love it. So, okay, so you see that if there's an oinus, it's a good get. The oinus is not a good excuse. As the Gemara, perhaps being sick is not a get. In other words, it's a good excuse. And that's exactly what we're coming to say over there, a different chiddush. You're asking me, so talk about, why do you have to say that he died? Say a bigger chiddush. Even he's alive, why do you have to kill him? Say he's alive, and he got sick, and it's not a get. Oh, because I want to tell you a different chiddush. then get lachar misa. I'm trying to tell you that if a guy, in another case, it applies to other cases. There's no such thing as a get going through after death. It's possible to do a retroactive get that was chal a month before, but there's no way that a get could be given after a guy dies. Says Gemara, whoa, in get lachar misa, hatana lereisha. You don't need to be mechadish that. That says mefurish. Here, gitin. Hareze gitach mati. Here's your get if I die. Hareze gitach mecholize if he dies from this disease. Hareze gitach lachar misa. Here it is. That case that you're talking about. You tell me a chiddush, it's not even the words. Here it says mefurish in the words. Here's a get after I die. Li omar klum, zero. Oh, nevertheless, dilma, I could still be doichik and say, or be metaretz, not a doichik. Dilma la pukim in the Rabbi Seinu. Maybe it's coming to emphasize that we don't hold like Rabbi Seinu. The what? The sign Rabbi Seinu, Rabbi Seinu to really not say. Oh, now going back, we have to go back a little bit to Yavamas. Chalitza. If I was in Eretz Yisrael, I'd pull out my chalitza shoe, the whole thing. Yaakov Ayal, Yishkoyach, wherever he is, he's here. You say Yishkoyach to him. He made it with his own hands. The chalitza shoe, an original. If Rabbi Seinu say that this woman, the get is such a good get, you don't even have to do a chalitza. Sometimes we throw in a chalitza, just to be yotzei zayin, do a chalitza. So she's not chayiv, a lav of leisiash and meisa chutza. Give her chalitza. No need to do chalitza. Why? Because the get is a great get. So I want to take away from that. Who are these Rabbi Seinu? Just like today we have an Isser Yain Nesach, there was once Shemen Nesach. There was an Isser, I don't know if it was called Shemen Nesach, but their oil, the guy's oil is Asr. And the Bezin came along and said it's mutter. Savri like Rabbi Yosi, and they hold like Rabbi Yosi, the Omar is Manish Shtar Mechia Chalav. Oh, so you look at the shtar, and you see the time in the shtar, and you see that it's written 2 months ago. So we're going to go by the shtar, we're going to go by the date, not by the date of the death. That what? The Gemara talks about, Rashi brings the sugya of if somebody wants to give his children when he's alive, he wants to give them the business. How do you give a business to your children when you're alive? Now, he wants to benefit and make a living. He doesn't want to be kicked out into the street. But he wants to give him the entire business. Now, if he gives him the business after he dies, it's not going to work. He wants to give it to him today. So you have to use a lashon. Rashi says, Me'achshav v'lachar misa. Such a lashon. From now, retroactive from now, and after I die. Okay. So you look at the shtar by us also, and you see, look, here, it says that he wrote it a long time ago. And retroactively, that's when it works. There was a Ma'aseh Shaya. There was a swindler who wrote in the tzava. He wrote a fake tzava. He said, I get the whole Yerusha. He comes to court, to Bezdin, whatever. And they looked at the date, and the Rav was able to prove from the date. It said, Weiss, whatever it is, I don't remember the dates over there, but October, whatever it is. He looked in the date, and he saw that it fell out on Yom Kippur. It's impossible that he wrote it. He's a from guy. He didn't write a tzava on Yom Kippur. Sometimes the zman is mechiach. The shtar is mechiach. Vela, okay. So we're not learning from there. Ela Maseifa. So this is the classic. Guy says it should be chal now, today, retroactively, if I don't show up in 12 months. When I don't show up in a year from now, it's going to be chal today. It's not chal after Misa, it's chal today when he's alive. And then he died within the 12 months. I raise a get, it's a good get. Why? Because it was given before he died. It's retroactive. So from this, says Gemara Meis, Vuadin L'chala. So, it's when he dies. And also, obviously, if he's sick. Says the Gemara, so you see from here that the Einus doesn't work. It's a good get. It's not mevatel the get. Says Gemara, Duma meis dafka. No, maybe it's not meis and chala. It's only meis. Only if he dies do we go retroactive, and if he's sick, you'll say sick is less. No, sick is worse. Why? Because his whole idea is to save his wife from his brother, that she shouldn't fall evil. And that's only if he dies. So may have no raya whether or not if a person becomes sick, is that mevatel get or not mevatel get? How did Rava learn it? Elamaha. Don't worry about it, we're almost done. We're not going to finish the whole Amud, we're going to go to the next sugya. If a person says, here's your get, if I don't come back from today till 30 days. From today till 30 days. Levigito, then it should be a get. Also, he's there. He's this close to getting there. Upaskimabro, the ferry going over the river is stuck. He's going crazy. He knows if he doesn't get over the water, his wife is going to be divorced. And what's going to happen if his wife is going to be divorced? Let him get married. No, she doesn't like him very much. He's going to get stuck, says Rashi. She's going to say, no thank you. She's going for the get, no thank you. So he starts screaming from the other side of the river, and he says, I'm here. But he's not here. He's on the other side of the river. Omer Shmuel, Lav Shmei Masya. He didn't get there. As they say in English, maybe it comes from here, he missed the boat. He missed the boat. He's trying to get over the river, and there's no go. And finally, right before we're mamish done, this idea of before we go in there and eat and have a great time and dance, it's going to be electric, it's going to be fire. Don't miss the boat. Don't say, I wanted to start Kesubos. I started Yevamis and I fell off the bandwagon and it's too late now. I'm not going to do it. No. You could scream, Chai v'kayom, I wanted to. Hey, stop the shot. No, you're here now. The boat's sailing right now. We're starting Kesubos. Get on board with us. And Be'ezer Hashem, we'll finish Kesubos together and we'll finish Shas together. Have a wonderful day.